flying the Hiko. I've been flying the Hiko P.
Mid-B gliders, so they fit in between the Hook and the Ikuma range. Well, let's start on the ground.
On the ground, yeah.
Yes. We'll try and share a bit of the differences and the feelings between the two.
Yeah.
Flown them both, yeah.
I find it so fun, and it's just great to move it around. It's light and easy just to lift it about and move it left and right and whatever you want to do with it. It seems to want to kind of just go there quite nicely and easily.
I think the reason for that is, one, the glider, it floats really easy, and when you bring it up, it wants to come up and fly, doesn't it? They want to come up and fly, and I think you've probably got that even more with the Hiko P, the light version.
Yes.
You don't need to give them a hard pull to come up. It's the kind of glider that has a sort of little bit of finesse to it in that way. It's not sort of... Having said that, it's very forgiving, really. Bit more sporty than the low B, but not quite as demanding as the high B is what we're looking for. I think you hit the nail on the head. The key word is playful and easy, but it does come up. It's got some energy and does want to come up and fly. It doesn't require and doesn't really want heavy-handedness. The key thing I notice is the difference between the Hook and the Ikuma. I think compared to the Hook, this has a bit more energy and a bit more, comes up with more speed and requires a little bit more finesse, but also it just has that more oomph to it.
Yes.
But then compared to the Ikuma, check our review of the Ikuma 3 and 3P. Compared to that, this is kind of softened. The Ikuma's got a little bit more sharpness to it. Yes. And this is kind of just softened a little bit. So I think actually that progression is pretty perfect. And even if you go back to the Coyote, that's kind of more dampened and, sort of just eased, and the way it comes up and how it behaves a bit slower. So, so it's kind of that. It is very, very mid-B, really. It's very much nice there.
Yeah.
Forward launch. Did you do any forward launches?
I've done some forward launches. Very easy.
They come up from they have a tendency to want to come up from the centre and just inflate really nicely. The lift is very progressive, and then you can feel quite clearly what's happening.
Yes, I think that's key. It's the feeling of it.
Yeah. Yes. And then the wing comes up at the top. You do need to make sure that if you kind of pull up and then pulls a bit, the glider can overfly you. But that's not what you should do on a forward launch. So it's not like a real school glider that kind of just stops. You kind of then run off. But it's what you want for this level of glider, that it comes up nicely and then wants to fly off and then takes off really nice. And I found in even a slight tailwind launches, it lifts off really nicely.
Yes.
The only thing I will say about it, and then we'll come into this in the handling, it's got a little bit of rolliness. So if you just need to make sure that you're not kind of doing PIO with the brakes, kind of pulling on the brakes, because it is quite responsive. So if you pull up and then you're resting your hands on the brakes and trying to balance yourself, then you will send the glider off.
It has got more energy than some other mid-Bs, I think, and they're contributed to by the rolliness.
So now we've taken off, you're flying on the slope, and we're playing around and soaring and using the little bits of lift on the different parts of the ridge, all the thermals coming through. And yes, it's a very playful and fun glider like that. They sort of feel like a bit more than you might expect. But then again, it is a mid-B. It's not a low B, so it's a mid-B. Because on the other hand, it does have a really sort of reassuring, calm feeling about it.
Yes.
Yeah, as you go into the high Bs, they tend to be more, have that a bit more edgy, sporting feeling to it. And this just definitely has... It's just like softened down a bit.
Yes.
When it's strong, one, you need to hold the glider down, because otherwise it will, especially with the light version, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't have that tendency to trailing edge constantly sort of waft up. It sits well. You can control it. And I think that's a lovely quality. And I think that's where they've pitched it with the mid-B. You've got that ease of handling.
When it's strong wind and it's like strong and gusty and thermic and stuff, just definitely holding the rear risers. If you're just holding the brakes, then it's pretty much, I suppose that's like pretty much every wing, isn't it? So when you're bringing the glider up, especially when it's in strong winds, then I think it's good to make sure that you bring the glider up and start running towards it right away. And also just try not to over input, because they are responsive wings.
Agreed.
So if you pull up and then input, you're going to send the glider a bit off to one side or another. I think for the level of pilot, it's actually the control and thing it gives you is really nice, that you can put the glider where you want. Let's talk a bit more about the handling. I find that it's definitely got a little bit of rolliness. It needs a little bit of finesse in it to get the most out of it. If you're being heavy-handed with it, then what's happened is the glider it will turn and respond and will roll some more. And I think then So it's better then to use a little bit of outer brake. So it's just kind of, some gliders turn very flat is the point. So they turn more flat, and then you feel like you use lots of inside brake and hardly any outside brake at all, and lots of weight shift. I think with a Hiko, if somebody's coming from an A or a low B wing, or a wing that has that characteristic of being sort of turning flat, this definitely has got that more fun, agile handling, and they've built it clearly to be fun and have that agility. So the point is that you can fly and turn, and they're quite a lot of agility without a big brake movements, can you?
Agreed,
but if you want to really turn the glider and bank it and crank it round, it will do it. If you're going along, if you just want to be more efficient and just use little amounts of brake and weight shift, you can do that, and does really well. But then if you're wanting to kind of go ha ha ha, crank it round, and like stuff the brake, then the glider will really roll round and crank it round. But then you just want to use some outer brake to level it out.
If you're a pilot that's been enjoying having less feedback and just that sort of softened feeling, when you come on something like this as a mid-B that has more energy, I think at first you might be a bit sort of like, oh, I've got more information and I've got more feedback. So it'd be a period of adjustment. Yeah,
I agree with that. It's definitely a glider. It does give it more feedback, but definitely, again, it's not the high B, and it's not. So it's not a really sporty feeling. I think it's still reassuring. Do definitely notice that it's got more performance than you get out of a low B wing. So you do feel that you get that gain in performance from it. And quite often we're flying it on our sites and it gets strong, quite breezy. And it pays to have a glider that's got a good trim speed and a good penetration and copes well with that. I found the Hiko is really good for that. Again, just that little thing with let the glider fly. Don't slow it down, don't hold on the brakes and over input, and then let it fly, and then it penetrates really nicely.
And in fact, the input I think is really important. Actually, you really don't need very much. The brake travel, feel like you don't need to put actually very much input in generally. The brakes are pressure wise low to mid pressure. It's
moderate to light.
Moderate to light. Not very
certainly not firm or heavy. And
not as direct as the Ikuma 3P. So this is a little softer, and not in a bad way. It's a softer feeling, and smaller movements required.
It doesn't require big inputs, but actually compared to the Ikuma, that has slightly shorter and more
direct. Yes.
So I think they're made, again, makes sense. They've put the brake travel is kind of, it's certainly not long. It's not a kind of glider you feel like you go down and you're like, oh, having to take a big wrap to do that. But the usual position, hands through and just a half wrap. I mean, you can actually just fly holding the top of the toggles if you like that, and that's plenty enough. It's a little bit longer than it is, say, on your average high B wing, but they do vary. And just giving that sort of like easier kind of handling.
Yes, agreed.
It's not a dampened feeling. It gives feedback. You can feel what's happening, and the glider moves around a bit. It still has a very reassuring, solid feeling about it. I think if you fly very inactively in very turbulent, choppy conditions, you are going to get some tip tucks. Because we have this close proximity to other wings, we have a very good indication, and you kind of get a feeling from testing wings in multiple conditions, multiple days, and quite a bit. On how you're doing averagely when you're flying with others. And I kind of let the glider fly as well. I try and just follow other pilots and do the same as they're doing. And I've just felt that the wing does really well. And I think Niviuk have prioritised the glider having a very good sink rate and a good climb rate.
The rolliness of the wing, you can use it to get into a nice sort of roll, nice bank, and then you're going round in a lovely tight sort of, if you want to, a nice tight turn. And equally, just by flattening out the glider, a bit more outer brake, you can then soften where you're sort of going and go back into sort of searching mode. But you can crank it round. We can really hear what the glider is saying to you for searching around and feeling the thermals. I've also noticed, being a bit lighter, got that slightly more floaty feeling. I think it actually feels nicer when it's got a bit more load to it. And I certainly, even with a higher load, wasn't feeling like I was missing out on sink rate or anything like that. So
I totally agree. They're really fun and very well performing thermaling wings, the Hiko and Hiko P. They do the thermaling thing very well. Also, I'd like to mention, I think it does really well even in light thermals. And strong stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good all-rounder.
Yes.
I think you mentioned as well, when it's really strong and punchy, the thermals are spitting you out. It is a glider that wants you to be more assertive to get back into the thermal.
Yeah.
If you kind of just go, you start going and that choppy stuff, then basically the glider starts to control you, or the conditions control you rather than you controlling it.
Yeah.
Because of that really nice agility and the handling.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's very confidence inspiring because it does what you tell it to do. It does like what you say it should do. Okay, so now we've got up, we thermal, we've got high, we've got up to base.
Yeah.
And we're going on glide.
Oh, glide.
It glides really well, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, I have to say that.
Yeah. Didn't feel like I was flagging behind.
When you go on glide, it has got a very good glide, I think, for the class. And I think a lot of pilots will struggle to see the difference.
Yeah.
But there is a reason for the high Bs. They do have a little bit of an edge, but it's really not much. So, you're getting a really nice gain in performance for that extra passive safety.
Yeah.
Now, going on to bar.
The whole range is very usable. It's light, it's easy. It makes you want to use it. It's like, it's not going to cause me any hassles. Just put it on, It
does pick up a good amount of speed, but this is where the best high Bs, that's, there's a reason for them. They have just a bit of an edge in terms of the top speed. We're talking a couple of kilometers an hour, maybe a few at the most, but it's more a couple really. So I think over trim, you're looking at, remember we're flying near sea level, it's picking up about 12 to 14 kilometers an hour on average from what I could see on the GPS. It's very rough, that. But what I can tell you is that it does pick up good speed, and it's definitely more glide and speed that you generally would be getting from the low B wings, but not quite as much as the best high B wings. But you certainly don't feel like, it's not like you're feeling like you're being left behind, really.
No.
As well as the fact that the speed system is light, the glider stays very solid. Right at the very top, it starts to get a little bit more edgier feeling, but still very solid. And very usable speed system.
Yeah.
The Hiko and the Hiko P both have a BC bridge.
Yes.
Not all, even high B wings have that. Some manufacturers opted to not have them.
I think Niviuk have really got this sorted. It's so simple, but it just feels so good. So, yeah.
And they've prioritised, they've decided to not put any handles like sticks on there. And it's just, you've just got the system where you put your hand in to here like that. And I think that's a really nice balance, especially for this level of wing, because you don't have the sticks catching on things. They really are a nice, simple system. Some other systems are quite complicated. This is the system that's got the floating B, so there's no B riser. It's very comfortable. They don't get in the way at all on the ground. It's very nice. The pressure is moderate to light. It's really not heavy, is it?
No.
Yeah, so very usable. Some systems, even some two-liners, are very heavy on their ear risers, which is kind of makes them kind of hard to use and impractical. These are really usable.
Yeah.
And the wing seems to stay very clean. Now, put up high, lift all over the place. We want to get down, Nancy.
Put in those big ears. Oh, super easy to go in. They're on the, I would say maybe slightly on the smaller side, but come in well. They hold nicely without any flapping or pressure or anything. And the releasing, generally, they're just popping out straight away.
I think they're actually a good size. They're not too small, but they're not, as you say, massive either. But they do definitely come in nicely, sit nicely, are effective.
Yeah.
The glider also stays reasonably stable. Yeah. Very good. I'm now going to talk about tip stalls. Both do the tip stalls. They're quite, the way that they are, I think they're quite physical to pull in, and they pull in quite a bit of the wing, and they're very effective and give you quite more of a descent rate. I think they might give you more of a descent rate than the big ears, but they are quite physical, and I get the feeling they're kind of pulling down almost a bit too much of the wing. So maybe, I mean, you certainly want to put on at least half bar when you do them, and then pulling them is quite physical, and they're quite physical to hold. Still, overall, on the Hiko, I'd prefer to use the big ears. We want to get down faster than spiral dives. I don't think there's anything to report, as it were, spiral dives.
No, the rolliness sort of helps.
Well, the one point about it, one point is that with that rolly tendency with the handling, you can certainly go into a spiral very quickly. And I think maybe if somebody's inexperienced and very heavy-handed, has a very weight-shifty harness, something like that, just need to watch out if you do a hard turn on the glider and then hold it, you're going to go round and go into a tight 360 and then into a spiral dive actually quite quickly. That makes the spiral dive very accessible if you want it. And if you just ease off on the brake and that, it's very easily controllable. I didn't find any kind of, whoa, this is too much kind of tendency, but it is a little bit on that rolliness. And then coming out of the spiral, I found that just putting my hands up was soon really enough. Sometimes if you want to come out a bit quicker, it wasn't a bad idea to just gently weight shift out. Then on the playful side, did you get a chance to do a bit of playing around?
I did. I had a lot of fun with the wing overs. The way that the glider handles, the way it feels, it's fun. So yeah, doing nice little gentle wing overs is quite easy. And then you've got nice energy to sort of build them up into quite nice, more sort of wangy overs really. So
yeah, really super fun. So coming into land, say top landing, slope landing, or even bottom landing, how clear is the stall point? How does it feel? I think with the Hiko, the brake pressure is relatively moderate to light.
Yeah.
On the lighter side, certainly not firm. As you go down the brakes as well, the brake travel, it's very obvious the stall point when it's coming out. The brakes do firm up quite obviously.
Yeah.
And there isn't it's not a sudden stall point. It's kind of, you get to that point, you can feel really clearly that you're getting to the point from the firmness in the brakes near the stall, and then the glider communicates it to you, I think, really, really well.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a nice sort of delay. If you want to get to it really fast, you can be a bit aggressive and punch it through. But generally, say, coming into land, top landing, you got a really good feeling, don't you, of where you are with the wing, so you can get from that nice energy and slow it down, and then hold it if you want near the stall point, if you're just hovering into land, or punch it through and thought. Yeah. And I think it's really nice.
Actually, yeah, total just agree with your description. It's just that, very nice, easy flow. You can feel it. You know, you really know what's kind of going on with it. And it just, it communicates well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the build quality. The materials, the construction, everything seems to be of the highest quality, really. Excellent, top notch.
I'd certainly put them up there as one of the leading brands in terms of their general quality control, production.
I like to see that everything arrives really well packed and packaged. Yes. It's all really tidily done.
Comes with an inner bag, compression strap, and riser bag, and then a little sort of repair kit as well.
So in summary, the Hiko, I think, is a fantastic all-round mid-B wing. The pilot demands are absolutely spot on for the class. It's a little bit more on the touchy-feely handling side rather than the sort of super stable planky side, with excellent performance, especially good handling and fun and thermaling capabilities. I think that's its really strongest point, just really on the super fun and thermaling abilities.
Yeah. No, I think Niviuk have nailed it with the mid-B. Great fun glider, so much fun. You can generally feel confident with the wing.
Right, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed that. We shall look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.